You're watching the pod on YouTube today. You might be wondering why I've got a Marlins hat on here on a Connecticut sports podcast. But joining me today, we've got Josh Simpson. He's of Stafford, Connecticut, in his
Yes,
major league debut with the Marlins a few weeks ago. So Josh, thanks so much for hopping on and talking to us today.
of course, I'm excited. It's always nice to get back to the Connecticut ties, so this will be awesome for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just start. Growing up in Stafford, just what was your baseball experience like here growing up?
Yeah, honestly, it was awesome growing up in Stafford with baseball. We had like a great core group of guys that I kind of came up with playing. And honestly, the town and the Little League did such a like great job with baseball as a whole. Like we had a an indoor batting cage.
Okay.
So like in the like winters, we could go up there and hit and throw, which was not very common, I think, at the time for
No.
that area. So that was great. And then just kind of coming up with my friends throughout Little League into high school and was great. We had a couple, three, four guys go play college ball. One of them ended up at UConn, Luke Broadhurst.
Yo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then one of my best friends, I actually just saw him out in Arizona as well. Jimmy Titus ended up getting drafted by the Dodgers as well. So I think the Little League was doing something well there, which was
I was,
cool.
I was gonna say for a smaller town like Stafford,
Yeah,
it's produced some good results there.
yeah, no, it was definitely I think a huge testament to what they did. Just kind of the coaches there, all the parents, just kind of supporting the baseball. Lifestyle and the dream of it was huge. So we owe a lot to them for sure.
I gotta ask, just because I'm not too familiar with some of the Stafford rivalries there. Who was the toughest out when you were in Little League or high school there in terms of other towns to go up against?
I guess a rival would have to have been Summers in high
Okay.
school, Stafford Summers.
Yep.
They were always a big conference rival. I'm trying to think of who else was pretty solid. Coventry was actually always pretty solid
Yeah.
as well. We were the N Triple C,
Okay.
the
The,
talent that we had a couple pretty decent guys come out of that league my senior year. So it was for small towns in Connecticut, we
yeah.
held them. So it was cool for sure.
Yeah. So as you're going through your high school baseball career, you end up getting an offer and going to Columbia. How'd you end up at Columbia?
Yeah. So I actually was playing there's a Connecticut high school all-star game after the regular season
Okay.
for juniors where they kind of do like a showcase almost, and
Mhm.
then you play after. I threw one inning, and then the following morning I believe I had an email or a phone call from the Columbia pitching coach. And I had at the time, just from being from Stafford, I hadn't really, the only Ivy League schools I kind of knew of were Yale and Harvard.
Yeah.
So I was looking it up and I was like, well, that's a pretty cool school. I was a little at the time apprehensive about going to New York City, just coming from such a like rural area. But I went down with my family, met the coaching staff, and right away, I think after I met them, I knew that was kind of the spot for me. Just Coach Brady and the staff there did an awesome job my 4 years there. He's still doing a great job there now. Um, so they helped me in so many ways. And actually, the pitching coach that recruited me was Pete Mackey, who actually is now the pitching coach for the Twins. So
Okay.
I got to see him this past series. So that was kind of a cool
Oh, cool.
full circle moment.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the time there was awesome. Just having the um, ability to be in New York City was really cool. For the college experience, and then I met my wife there as well, so that was pretty exciting. So a lot of good
Yeah.
positive things came out of my time there, so it was definitely a great experience.
Sounds like it. And I'm curious because you did mention it a little bit, going from Stafford to New York City.
Yeah,
What was that adjustment like? Because
big.
I mean, between you being growing up in Stafford and now living in Miami too, it's like you picked like complete opposites of Stafford.
Big adjustments. No, I remember calling home the first couple weeks to my parents, like, I don't know, like this is a lot different.
Yeah,
Because it was definitely a big adjustment, for sure. I remember it being quite the challenge. But I think once I kind of just embraced it and appreciated the like lifestyle for what it was, I loved it. The It's definitely a different pace in a lot of different ways. I still prefer probably the more rural areas
yeah.
now, but just to have that experience and to like be able to say that I did that was it was an awesome time. So it was definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went from Connecticut. I went down to GW in DC, got my
Yeah.
city living out of me in my college days, and
Yeah.
it did
For
it for me.
college it was awesome, honestly. It was really cool just to have like anything you wanted there and to be able to just
It
go.
is.
It was pretty cool. Just all the different foods and like different cuisines was really cool. So like coming from we didn't have like a ton of different
Yeah.
food options growing up, so that was definitely one of the cooler things is trying different foods and things like that. So
I bet. As you graduate, and move on and start going through your professional baseball career, I know of all the sports, I feel like baseball's got the biggest grind in
yeah.
making it through the system. What's your experience just been like? I know you were really grinding away in the minors and got this call up just a few weeks ago, but what was your experience like getting up to this point?
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely um it's tough. I think the come from the 32nd round, you really have to prove yourself right
Yeah.
away just to kind of stick around. So just going from level to level, kind of just seeing what do I need to work on, how can I improve, was huge. And then having like that, the COVID year after the first year was definitely difficult. But I honestly think in the long run that really did benefit me,
Mhm.
just because it kind of gave me an elongated period of time to like sit down and see what do I need to do to take myself to the next level.
Yeah.
And like at the time, it was probably improving my velocity was the biggest thing. Um, so I spent that end of the summer into the fall, working at a Cressy Sports Performance up in Hudson, Mass,
Mhm.
where I kind of really just figured out like how my body needs to operate to throw like a certain way, where I need to get stronger at stuff like that. So that was really like a big turning point for me. And then going into my first full season up in Beloit in high A, kind of was where I saw like this is how the minor leagues are. You're there for a full season. It's a grind, but just kind of sticking to your routine and taking care of what you need to take care of every day was the most important thing. But it's a grind, but at the same time, like I love every part about it. It's what makes it is what it makes it what it is.
Yeah.
Just being with the like guys and developing those relationships is what makes it so enjoyable. So it's been a blessing, honestly, just to be able to go through that process for sure.
Growing up here in Connecticut, did you get to check out? Because I know we've had a variety of minor league teams here throughout the years. You
Yeah.
get to check any of those out growing up as a
I
kid?
grew up, we would always go to the New Britain Rockcats
Yep. Yeah.
games. Yeah, I remember watching I think it was Trevor Story I watched there a couple times. Um
It's crazy when you hear some of the names that went through
yeah,
Britain.
really
It's like,
cool. I know that was probably where we went the most. We'd always take like a little league trip there every year. Um I actually ended up I think in college I went to one Yard Goats game,
okay.
which that's a beautiful stadium. They do
Yeah.
a great job there. But the main one was definitely the Rockcats for sure. I always loved going to those. That was fun.
Yeah. As you're going through the minor leagues, I know you're getting to check out a ton of very random cities because I feel like when you think of
Mhm.
minor league baseball, you think of all these random cities. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite spot you picked as you were kind of going
Yeah.
along your journey?
I think in since I've gotten up to Jacksonville, we're kind of hitting like more major cities.
Yeah.
So Nashville's cool, Charlotte's really cool. Let me think of a lower level one. That's a good one. Let's see. Pensacola, we would go. Pensacola is a great
Yeah.
spot. I mean, that was our hometown, but that was the beaches there are beautiful. Pensacola, we'd head to Montgomery every once in a while, which was cool.
Okay.
Birmingham's pretty cool, and then up in Beloit, I think there's the Royals are in Quad Cities or the River Bandits. I think that's
Mhm.
Davenport,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. They have like a Ferris wheel in left field. The stadium's pretty cool, and they have like a
Oh, that's
pretty
neat.
cool little downtown. But honestly, I
Yeah.
say it to my wife all the time. Like it kind of gives us the opportunity to travel to places you never would really go to.
Right. Yeah.
So it's definitely it's pretty cool. It's pretty special seeing those spots.
Yeah. I know everyone's got their story of what it's like when they get called up to the big leagues. What was it like
Yeah.
for you when you got that call?
Yeah, I mean it was awesome. We were up in Syracuse after a game. Um, my wife and I were in the hotel room, and my pitching coach called me actually and let me know. So it was kind of like a obviously super exciting, but then we're
Yeah.
trying to scramble to figure out how to get Katie, my wife, and our dog down there as well. So we had to get them on a different flight. And then my flight uh, connecting in DC actually ended up getting delayed like 4 hours. So I got to the stadium like 30 minutes before the game.
Oh, gee.
So it was like right out of a movie, honestly. I was like
Yeah.
running through cars to get to the stadium, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. It just made it all the more like
Yeah.
more of a good story. So it was
Well,
cool.
just like Alex, grilling season is back. And while our favorite team reloads, it's your turn to load up the grill with Martin Rosal's, the best meats Connecticut has to offer. Since 1928, Martin Rosal's has been crafting top quality hot dogs, kielbasa, and sausages using original recipes and only the finest ingredients. So as the warm weather returns, remember, both championship teams and great cookouts start with the right lineup. Look for Rosal's at your local grocery store or stop by their retail store in New Britain. And now, back to the episode. What was it like just walking into that clubhouse for the first time and being like, "Hey, like this is my clubhouse now. I'm a
Yeah,
part of the
no,
team." Like, I feel like it's gonna be crazy.
it's really cool. I think just um the honestly a lot of it was just like shock to begin with. I was
Yeah,
kind of just like focusing on getting there on time and then playing in the game.
yeah,
So it didn't really kind of settle in until a couple days after I kind of took a deep
yeah,
exhale and kind of realized what happened. Um, so that I think was just like a pretty special moment knowing like all the different hurdles
yeah.
and things that I went through to get there. So it's definitely really, really cool for sure.
I've got to ask because I love the songs, whether it's a walk-up song or what you're
Yeah.
coming out of the bullpen too. How do you go about picking the song and what do you got for yours?
I haven't been able to pick one out since I've gotten up here. I have
Okay.
I see there's like a sheet to fill it out, but it has to be in by a certain time, and I forget to do it every day. So I will get on top of that today. I don't know. I got to think of one. I'll let you know what it is though.
All right. I like it. I like it. We'll be watching and listening to
Yes.
see what it is as you come out. I'm curious as whether it was someone you went up against in the minors. Is there a guy that you faced a hitter that you're like, wow, this guy is really good, and you know he's going to be good, and he turned out to be good.
Yeah, I think past couple years we played Norfolk a bunch
Okay.
with the Orioles AAA.
Yeah.
So we've seen all those guys in their lineup come through and whether it's Holiday or Henderson or
Yeah.
Mayo. Now we got Norby and Stowers here with us, but honestly, that whole lineup a few years ago was just unbelievable to watch. Um, So I always
Yeah,
obviously you like facing the best of the best competition.
definitely.
And seeing him on the schedule for the following week was always a tough test. So that probably that
Yeah,
lineup as a whole was
yeah,
pretty special. Honestly, they had a really good squad.
yeah. As a guy coming out of the bullpen, what's it like just during a standard game, not necessarily knowing when exactly you're going to get the call and just always being ready?
Yeah, no, it's definitely um a learning curve. Like coming out of college, I was a starter for all 4 years. So my first season, I kind of like started to develop that routine. And now it's kind of like you can, for me at least, I know what situations I would come to a game, whether it's a
Mhm.
lefty in the lineup or something along those lines. You kind of just have to read the how the starting pitcher's doing and kind of gauge what you're doing off of that. But you gotta be ready to go
Yeah,
fast. So it's definitely it's nice because it kind of takes the thought process out of it. You're just kind of going right away. So it's there's not many other like getting ready
no,
processes like that
yeah,
in baseball. So it's definitely very unique.
definitely. You I know just based on the games you've been up, you've gotten to do a road trip, right? How's the major league road trip compared to what it's like in the minors?
Yeah, so it's definitely definitely a little more enjoyable. No, it's cool. The guys are great. Just being on the planes is cool, and then San Francisco was great. That's an awesome stadium. Oracle
Yeah,
Park was super super cool. That was definitely like a cool moment just because I've always seen it on TV. And you see
definitely.
like all the McCovey Cove homers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I didn't realize there's only so they have like a um sign on the right field fence that tracks the number of balls
Yup.
that are hit. It said there's only like 106 or
Oh,
something, which I thought was
huh.
very small for like how long that
Yeah.
place has been there. I thought it would have been like significantly
Really.
more than that, but
Yeah.
it was kind of interesting. I was happy I didn't add to that to the total while we were there, but the that park was really really cool for sure.
Is there a bucket list stadium that you'd love to take the mound on?
Yeah, I think uh Fenway would be pretty special.
I was I,
Um,
I was gonna ask, growing up in Stafford, were you a Red Sox fan growing up?
no, so I can't believe I just said Fenway. I actually grew up a Yankees
Okay,
fan,
that's a yeah.
but I think Fenway is just something about the history there and the charm
Yeah.
is special. So that would be definitely really cool.
Did you get to make many trips to Yankee Stadium when you were at Columbia?
We had at school I went to a
Yeah.
couple games.
Yeah.
Not too many honestly, just because it was like the actually wasn't too far away. I think it was more of just like the
Just the
as a
timing. Yeah.
college athlete, there's not a ton of time to do stuff,
Yeah.
sadly. But
All right. Just a fun one here as we get ready to wrap here. What's your favorite ballpark food?
ballpark food. I always loved the ice cream in the helmet.
Yeah, it's a
That's
you
a
can't beat
classic.
that.
Yeah, that's a classic. I like that. I like probably the peanuts are always a classic too in the bag. Um, what else is there? Good hot dog or like a uh, sausage is always good. Trying to think of what else. I feel like there's a bunch of
And now it's gotten fancy
very.
too.
I
Like,
was gonna say there's a bunch of different intricate ones each park has. I don't know what those are, but the
yeah,
classic ones I would say for sure is the ice cream and the
it's
helmet, and you keep the helmet too, which was always one of my favorite parts.
definitely, definitely. I'll wrap with this one for you. We're talking now. It's afternoon on 4th of July. You got a game
Yeah,
tonight. I know you got the Marlins 4th of July hat on there. What's it like? I mean, I feel like when you think of all things 4th of July, baseball on the 4th of July is
yeah,
one of the coolest things. And now you get to be up there in a major
that
league
is
team playing. What's that like for you?
that is pretty special. I think just like the thinking back to when I was a kid, like that was always one of the biggest days in the summer with fireworks and baseball and games and stuff like that. You always looked forward to it. So to kind of still being able to experience that now is really, really cool.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
definitely cool.
Yeah, well, enjoy it. I know that the Marlins are on fire right now. You guys are
Yeah, we're
playing really well. So
playing some good ball. I know we got to keep it rolling for sure. It's exciting in the clubhouse.
yeah, awesome. Well, happy Fourth. Enjoy getting to play out there today, and we're all rooting for you back here
Thank
in
you, man. I
Connecticut. So
appreciate it.
hopefully get you back here for Connecticut, make a visit.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Nice to meet you as well.